Hello and welcome back to the Deep Frame Podcast. I'm your host Leo, and today we're diving into a panoramic view of what's shaking up politics, life, science, psychology, and tech right now. Grab a coffee, settle in, and let's go deep. Let's start in the world of politics. Elon Musk's latest audacious move, the creation of the American Party on July 4th. Musk launched a poll on X where nearly two-thirds of over 1.2 million respondents said yes to a third party. This isn't just rhetoric. Tesla's stock immediately dropped 6 to 8% on investor jitters, and Trump called it ridiculous. But look closer. Quanta's polling shows 40% of Americans are open to it, with 14% very likely to switch. That's a tectonic shift, especially with Republican men showing 57% openness. Musk's strategy? Laser focus on a few Senate and House seats to hold the balance of power. Think of it as a tactical strike rather than a full frontal assault. That said, the structural barriers are real. U.S. ballot access hurdles, campaign finance caps, mainstream voter inertia. Duverger's law is brutal. Historians point to Theodore Roosevelt in 1912 and Ross Perot in 1992. Bold but ultimately contained. Still, Musk's wealth and platform give him tools even Perot didn't have. On the other hand, this could also be a strategic ploy, a bargaining chip to steer legislators toward his fiscal technocratic vision, spending restraint, plus aggressive investment in AI, space, and biotech. Think of it as building a techno-populist wing that supports defense, AI, space infrastructure, and deregulated energy, without the baggage of big government. But the fallout is unpredictable. If the America Party successfully siphons conservative votes, it could risk handing congressional seats to Democrats. Alternatively, moderate voters could wreck GOP chances or realign the center-right axis. It's a spoiler, a catalyst, or both. Zooming out a bit, around the world, tariff wars and protectionist threats are heating up. Former President Trump is threatening 25% tariffs on Japan and South Korea, moves that could destabilize global supply chains, upend US and Asia trade, and shake investor confidence. It's economic nationalism colliding with post-pandemic interdependency, and countries like South Korea are already talking about retaliatory measures. As economists point out, tariffs are one thing, ironclad global partnerships are another. That friction alone can derail semiconductor supplies, auto parts flows, and military-industrial stability. From there, let's shift gears to AI, public policy, and healthcare. Public agencies are wrestling with algorithmic bias in wildly important domains: criminal justice, job hiring, and yes, medical diagnosis. The world's first bias lawsuits for diagnostic AI are already being filed, and regulators in Europe are preparing hardline AI laws tied to GDPR. On the US side, the White House is floating executive orders to govern design-making algorithms in federal programs. The question is, how do we stop big tech from embedding inequality into smart systems, whether in policing, mortgages, or genomic medicine? In the health science realm, AI-powered diagnostics are revolutionizing cancer detection and retinal screening. Radiology companies are combining deep learning models with portable imaging to bring early diagnostics to remote areas. But there's a tension. Are those breakthroughs owned by startups or patented and rationed by health monopolies? Consider the recent spat over AI patents. For mRNA prediction tools, Stanford and biotech firms are duking it out. To claim IP ownership, there's a race between democratizing cancer scanners via AI versus locking it into proprietary platforms. And the real winners or victims will be patients in low resource geographics. Beyond diagnostics, personalized medicine is advancing, with polygenic risk scores empowered by AI to tell you your odds for Alzheimer's or type 2 diabetes. But the downside, insurance companies might begin using those scores to price coverage, creating new inequalities. Meanwhile, true fascination is building around generative AI adoption. The next wave of LLMs like GPT-5 and Gemini Ultra, once the early adopters, tech startups, ad agencies have their fun. What's next for heavy industry use cases? We're seeing the rise of prompt engineering boot camps, corporate AI literacy retreats, and Gen AI councils inside mega enterprises. Workers are forming AI peer groups to stay ahead of automation. But the social implications, loss of meaning, desk killing, job polarization are just beginning to sink in. Another emergent trend, stop killing games. You might not have heard it yet, but gamers are pushing lawmakers on both sides of the Atlantic demanding developers keep older broken service games alive. The EU petition just hit 1 million signatures, and the UK Parliament will debate preserving offline or private server options. Surveys show 68% of always online games are now unplayable or at risk. This is more than nostalgia, it's a generational fight over digital cultural preservation. Imagine Lockean rights applied to virtual worlds. Will gaming giants be forced by law to give you a way to preserve access to what you bought? It's a flashpoint in consumer rights versus corporate terms of service. Speaking of digital trust, brings us to deepfake scams, which are exploding. We've seen crypto scammers deepfake Bourdain or obscure celebrities. Last week, there was a live YouTube deepfake of Zev Garcia, asking viewers for Bitcoin. These aren't simple memes, they're psychological Trojan horses that hijack trust. Studies show people are 5 times more likely to comply with a deepfake authority figure than with text alone. We're moving into a post-visual era where seeing is not believing, and the mental toll, paranoia, digital PTSD is emerging already in therapy sessions. Why does this matter? On social media and news consumption platforms like TikTok and YouTube have become our de facto evening briefing rooms. The traditional 6 p.m. news is being displaced, and with it, our ability to contextualize algorithmic compression favors viral outrage over nuance, which is great for watch time, not democracy. Younger users are reporting reduced attention spans and worse fact retention. We're witnessing a media Darwinian shift from broadcast to bite-sized streams. The challenge, can we retrofit media literacy as educational systems degrade? And of course, that leaves the pandemic of viral content itself. What makes a TikTok or meme blow up? It's not luck, it's a psychologically optimized cocktail, novelty plus emotional rhythm plus participation. Design duets challenges. That formula explains everything from Corn Kid to the latest spice, ramen trend. But there's a deeper truth. These contagious memes satisfy a basic human craving to be seen, to matter, and our near constant dopamine loop is flipping our cognitive wiring, fragmenting attention, eroding memory, and militarizing emotion. So where do we land? Musk America Party may not flip Congress, but even a few spoiler seats could shift big picture policy. Tariff threats are less about trade and more about global political signaling. AI in governance and healthcare is accelerating, but regulation is racing behind. And health equity is the potential casualty. Gaming preservation fights are forging new legal frameworks for digital ownership. Deepfakes are undermining the visual truths that underpin civilization, and our media diets are fracturing cognition. At the Deep Frame, our goal is to think beyond the headlines, to see how these lines intersect. Third-party politics shape regulatory environments. AI and life science promise new worlds but bring new risks. Psychology underpins every shift, and through it all, we remain human, seeking connection, meaning, and identity. Thank you all for joining me, and if these explorations resonate with you, leave a comment or send a voice note. I read them all. Share this episode if you found it useful, and don't forget to follow The Deep Frame on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. We've got more deep dives coming, so stay curious, and I'll see you next time.